Archangel Michael says, someone is warning you about a person whose name begins with the letter M. Don't skip, open it quickly before it's too late. There is a stirring in your spirit for a reason. Sometimes, the Lord whispers through moments like this, nudging your heart to stay alert, to remain in His protection, and to lean ever closer to Him. Type 2323 if you agree. The world around you can feel loud, full of distractions and shifting shadows. But in the quiet, when everything stills, God speaks. He speaks not in fear, but in love. He calls His children to be wise, gentle, and strong, even when faced with confusion or deceit. This warning, soft as a breeze but firm as a mountain, is not meant to frighten you. It is a loving tap on the shoulder, a heavenly reminder to stay anchored in the truth of God and not be swayed by appearances. There are people who wear kindness like a mask and speak with sweet words that hold no truth beneath them. Sometimes their presence feels warm at first, like a fire on a cold night, but you soon realize that it burns rather than comforts. The letter M may stand for a name, but more than that, it stands for misdirection, manipulation, or misunderstanding. It may even stand for moments you tried to ignore, feelings you brushed aside, or instincts you prayed weren't real. But the Lord sees what you cannot. He knows what lies behind every smile and what intentions hide behind every embrace. He longs to protect you, not only from danger, but from the kind of wounds that linger quietly in the heart. Jesus does not want you to carry hurt that He can shield you from. That is why you are being nudged now, to walk with eyes open and a spirit fully aware. There is nothing to fear when you are in His care. Even when someone tries to break your spirit, even when someone's words aim to confuse or drain you, the power of Jesus Christ is greater. His light cuts through every shadow. His love steadies the shaken. He restores what was stolen and mends what was broken. You are not alone. You are never alone. His hand is over your life, His angels guard your path, and His voice is never far. There's a peace that comes when you listen to God's guidance. It's soft but steady, gentle but clear. Even now, as you read these words, something in your soul recognizes the truth. Not because you were told, but because you can feel it. Deep down, where fear cannot reach, the Holy Spirit reassures you. This is not just a message, it is a whisper of love, a call to be careful, but also a promise that you are being protected. Type 1616 if you believe. You may have questioned someone lately, not out loud, but in your heart. You may have felt unsure about their place in your life or wondered if their presence brings light or brings weight. That feeling is not random. That feeling may be the Spirit guiding you. Not all who walk beside you are meant to stay. Some are placed for a reason, and others pass through like a storm, leaving lessons but not love. What if you could unlock a secret brain wave that top scientists discovered inside the hippocampus, the very switch that signals wealth and abundance? Hidden from the public for decades, this breakthrough can rewire your mind to attract prosperity faster than you imagined. Picture the stress of bills replaced with financial freedom and new opportunities. Every delay is a missed blessing, and those who act now are already walking into the wealth you deserve. Step forward before the door closes. Click the link in the video description and comments below to activate this ancient money wave and step into abundance today. Let your heart be still and ask God to show you clearly. He will. He always does. He opens eyes that were once blind and strengthens voices that were once silent. You are His child. He will not let confusion linger long when you ask Him to speak. He is a Father who answers. He brings clarity, even when people try to bring chaos. He brings peace, even when others cause unrest. Sometimes, the name is not what matters most. It's what they carry in their spirit. The M might be someone you trusted. It might be someone whose presence always left you uncertain, even when you couldn't explain why. It might be someone who kept you in a cycle of doubt, or someone who pulled you away from the joy and light of God. Don't condemn. Don't hate. But do step back. Do listen. Do allow God to handle what you cannot. If Jesus walked beside you in the flesh today, you wouldn't question whether or not to speak, whether or not to walk away, whether or not to trust. You would follow Him without pause. You would trust Him fully. And that same Jesus is here now, in spirit, in love, in truth. He will never abandon you to deception. He will never leave your soul unguarded. His truth, His love, and His protection are always near, like a flame that never dies out. Let this be a moment where you turn inward and upward. Ask God for strength, not just to see what is hidden, but to act in love even when it's hard. Ask for wisdom to recognize who brings you closer to Him and who subtly pulls you away. Ask for courage to choose the light, even when the path feels unfamiliar. You don't need to understand everything right now. You just need to stay close to the one who does. There is a reason you are still here. There is a reason you are reading this right now. Heaven has been watching over you, and something within you has been stirred because the Lord is guiding your heart closer to truth, to clarity, and to healing. Type 555 if you trust Jesus. The person whose name begins with M might not even fully know the damage they've caused. Or perhaps they do, and still continued on their path anyway. But you don't need to carry the burden of their choices. You are not responsible for healing what someone else keeps breaking. You are not called to shrink yourself to fit in a space God never built for you. The warning you feel is not fear, it's wisdom. It is the Spirit of God gently but firmly reaching into your soul to say, "Come back to me. Stay close to me. I will keep you safe." So many hearts in this world are wounded, not by accidents, but by people who were trusted too deeply, forgiven too many times, or believed too quickly. You may have given someone the benefit of the doubt until it began to cost you your peace. You may have wanted to see the good in them so badly that you ignored the quiet alarm bells ringing in your soul. And even now, you may feel torn, confused between loyalty and truth, between what feels familiar and what feels right. But there is peace on the other side of letting go. Peace when you choose to walk in the light of Jesus Christ, even if it means walking alone for a little while. You were never meant to live in a cloud of constant second-guessing, or in a space where your light is dimmed by someone else's shadow. God does not ask you to suffer endlessly at the hands of another's carelessness. Instead, He invites you to rise, to be restored, and to be made whole through His love. This isn't about bitterness. This isn't about revenge. It's about freedom. Freedom from emotional weight that never belonged to you. Freedom from the games people play when they don't respect your heart. Freedom from needing validation from anyone who doesn't walk in the truth of God's love. Jesus offers something deeper, something real. He offers a place where your heart can breathe again, where your tears are seen and your worth is never questioned. You may not understand the full reason behind this warning, but your soul does. It recognizes what your mind can't quite explain. That's why your spirit has been restless. That's why your heart keeps returning to the same unshaken feeling. The warning is not just about a name. It's about guarding your spirit. It's about drawing you back into the arms of the Father, where truth replaces confusion and love drives out fear. Type 222 to walk in God's light. There is a sacred kind of healing that happens when you release someone who was never meant to stay. And sometimes, that healing begins when you finally accept that love should not be painful, manipulative, or conditional. Love, the kind that comes from Jesus, is patient, kind, and full of truth. It doesn't leave you guessing. It doesn't make you feel small. It lifts you up, draws you closer to goodness, and brings peace to your spirit. You may have walked with someone whose heart was full of cracks, and in trying to love them, you ended up breaking parts of your own. That does not make you weak. That means your love was real. But God is asking you now to return your heart to Him. To let Him restore the pieces you gave away too freely. To let Him show you what love really feels like, calm, strong, consistent, and rooted in truth. Don't be afraid to start again. Don't be afraid to let go. Even if it hurts now, even if the silence feels heavy, there is something beautiful ahead. God never removes something from your life without offering something better in its place. He knows your heart. He knows how long you've tried. And He knows when it's time to set you free. Sometimes, God allows certain people to come into your life so you can learn the difference between temporary comfort and lasting peace. He lets your heart stretch, so you can learn what it means to rely fully on Him. And while those moments can be painful, they are never wasted. He is always working, always shaping, always loving you through it all. Let today be the day you begin again. Not with bitterness, but with a quiet strength. Let today be the day you pray not only for protection, but for peace. Not only for healing, but for hope. Ask Jesus to fill the spaces left empty by confusion or loss, and trust that He will. He always does. His promises are not empty. His love is not fleeting. He remains. Even if someone has tried to manipulate your kindness, twist your words, or control your joy, they cannot touch what God has placed within you. Your light belongs to heaven. Your soul was formed in divine love. And no name, no past, and no person can remove what God has claimed. Let this be your season of rising. Let it be your season of clarity, where the fog lifts and your heart finally sees. Let it be your season of choosing joy, choosing freedom, choosing Jesus. Because with Him, there is no confusion, no games, no fear, only love that heals and truth that lasts. When heaven speaks, it does so with purpose, and even the softest whisper from God carries more meaning than 1,000 loud voices from the world. You are being drawn into clarity now, into a space where the truth becomes steady and your heart begins to feel lighter with each shift of God's presence. Type 1111 if you trust in God. Sometimes, the people who come into our lives feeling familiar or comforting are the same ones who eventually reveal shadows we weren't prepared to see. At first, their presence may have felt safe, or warm, or even necessary, yet as time passed, you began sensing something unsettled beneath the surface. This uneasiness was not weakness. It was not doubt without reason. It was your spirit responding to something your eyes had not yet recognized. God gives His children sensitivity for a reason, and when He begins to reveal someone's true intentions, He does so gradually, allowing your heart to adjust gently, without breaking under sudden weight. A mysterious 9-word prayer once sealed inside a private government vault is now resurfacing, and people everywhere are seeing financial breakthroughs overnight. Experts say it triggers a long silent part of the human brain responsible for abundance and wealth attraction. It takes less than 30 seconds to repeat, yet it's turning struggle into prosperity. Thousands are reporting cleared loans, sudden cash inflows, and unexpected blessings. Click the link in the description and comments before this secret disappears again. The person connected to the letter M may represent more than just an individual. They may symbolize a season of confusion, a pattern of emotional exhaustion, or a cycle that kept you returning to places where your spirit could not grow. You may have tried to justify their actions or explain away their inconsistencies because you cared more deeply than they ever realized. You may have offered forgiveness even when it was not asked for, simply because compassion is your nature. But over time, the pressure on your heart became undeniable, and the inward tug from God became too strong to overlook. Heaven does not warn without reason. When God steps in, He is calling you away from something that no longer aligns with your purpose. He is calling you into healing, not heartbreak. Into restoration, not confusion. Into love that uplifts, not love that drains. You were never created to remain in spaces where your spirit is dimmed, where your confidence slowly fades, or where your worth becomes a negotiation rather than a truth. Jesus came not only to save your soul, but to protect your heart, your peace, and your path. His guidance always leads you toward the light. You may find yourself remembering moments now, moments that once felt small or insignificant, yet now carry meaning. Words spoken softly that unsettled you without explanation. Actions disguised as kindness but lacking sincere intention. Promises given easily but never fully kept. These memories rise not to bring pain, but to help you understand why God is guiding you forward. No healing happens in confusion. No growth happens in emotional instability. God calls you to rise because you were created for more than what tried to hold you still. There is no anger in the way heaven moves. Only love. The warning you received is a shield, not a strike. It is a gentle push toward freedom, a reminder that your heart deserves honesty and your soul deserves rest. You were never meant to carry the burden of guessing someone's intentions or feeling responsible for holding together what was never built on truth. God is stepping between you and what was taking your peace, because you are precious to Him. He cherishes you more deeply than you understand. Type 1212 if you walk by faith. There comes a moment in every journey where a shift takes place, not in your surroundings, but within your spirit. You begin to see more clearly. You begin to understand what once confused you. You begin to feel the weight lift as you release the person or situation that has been pulling your heart in too many directions. This moment is holy. It is the beginning of renewal. It is the moment where your spirit becomes aligned again with the soft, steady voice of God. Moving on from someone connected to your heart is not easy, especially when you cared deeply. But God will not let your compassion become your downfall. He will not let your loving nature be used against you. He is stepping in now to protect what is sacred within you. He is guiding you to see that the warning was not about fear or danger, but about redirecting your spirit toward peace. The presence of this person, however meaningful it once felt, may have begun to overshadow your ability to listen clearly to God's voice. That alone is reason enough for heaven to intervene. Letting go does not mean you failed. It does not mean you were unworthy. It means you were brave enough to choose growth over comfort, truth over illusion, and peace over chaos. It means you trusted God more than you trusted your own understanding. It means you accepted that His plans, even when unfamiliar, are always shaped in love. As you release the weight of this person, your heart will begin to breathe again. Your thoughts will soften. Your spirit will settle. You will feel Jesus drawing near, reminding you that He is the one who holds your future, not anyone whose presence brought confusion. He is the one who shapes your destiny, not the person whose inconsistencies drained your hope. He is the one who defines your worth, not the one who failed to see it. Slowly, gently, beautifully, God is leading you into a new season. A season where you no longer question your value. A season where your heart is met with kindness instead of uncertainty. A season where your spirit is nourished rather than manipulated. A season where the love surrounding you comes from heaven, pure and steady, healing you in places you didn't realize were hurting. This journey has not been easy, but every moment has brought you closer to clarity, closer to strength, and closer to the loving arms of Jesus. The warning may have been the beginning, but the transformation that follows is the true gift from God. You are stepping into a brighter place now, one where your heart is safe, your spirit is lifted, and your path is illuminated by divine guidance. That heaviness was never placed there by God. It was formed in the space where truth was replaced by half-spoken words and where love was used as a disguise for control. You've walked through enough. And now, heaven is moving. Now, God is stepping in more clearly than ever before. Type 1919 to receive miracles. The person you keep thinking about, the one connected to the letter M, may not even realize the effect their presence has had on your spirit. Or maybe they do, and chose not to change. Either way, the Lord has seen what you haven't. He's heard what you couldn't, and He has felt every single tear you've tried to hide. Sometimes, we stay loyal to people who are no longer loyal to our growth. And while your love was sincere, your heart deserves more than to be held hostage by someone who doesn't honor it. Buried deep in forgotten archives, a 9-word phrase once hidden from the public is now transforming ordinary lives. Neuroscientists call it a wealth frequency activator, because it awakens a part of the brain that naturally draws prosperity. It takes just seconds to speak, but the change can last a lifetime. People are waking up debt-free and financially secure. The page could vanish at any moment. Click the link before it's gone for good. When God gives you peace about walking away, it's not punishment. It's protection. When the warning comes, it may feel uncomfortable at first, like a gentle push you weren't expecting. But over time, that push begins to feel like mercy. Like air returning to your lungs. Like light filtering into the dark corners of your soul again. This is what happens when you stop trying to fix what was never your burden to carry, and instead, allow God to restore what was lost in the trying. There's power in release. There's peace in letting go. There's a quiet, holy strength that rises within you when you stop pleading for someone to see you clearly and start remembering how clearly God has always seen you. You don't have to stay in a space that's slowly stealing your joy. You don't have to keep opening your heart to someone who only opens theirs when it's convenient. The warning wasn't about punishment. It was about calling you back to the truth that has always lived inside you, the truth that says you are loved, chosen, and meant to be free. Sometimes the hardest part is accepting that someone's role in your story was only meant for a season. And that season may have been filled with lessons, but that doesn't mean it deserves to last forever. Just because you saw potential doesn't mean they were ready to grow into it. Just because you gave grace doesn't mean they knew how to carry it with care. Some people come into your life to reveal what you truly need. And others come to show you what to let go of. God uses both. This moment, though heavy, is sacred. It is holy ground. You are being refined, not ruined. You are being rebuilt, not rejected. The ache you feel now will not last forever. In time, you will look back and thank God, not just for the warning, but for the strength He gave you to listen to it. You will see how He used this breaking point to turn your heart toward something more beautiful, more healing, and more real. Type yes to affirm you are walking in God's plan. Do not let guilt convince you to stay where God is asking you to move. Do not let the past convince you that peace isn't possible. Jesus came to set the captives free, and that includes the chains that can't be seen, the ones wrapped around your mind, your heart, your self-worth. He came to heal, not just the body, but the spirit too. If it feels like your soul is slowly healing just from reading these words, that is no accident. That is the presence of the Lord washing over you, renewing you gently, one truth at a time. You were not created to be small, to walk on eggshells, or to hold your breath around someone who only sees you when they need something. You were created in the image of a God who calls you beloved, who delights in your joy, and who rejoices when your heart is full of light. This journey, though painful, is leading you closer to that version of yourself, the one that is fully alive in Christ, not bound by confusion or held hostage by mixed intentions. You may grieve. You may cry. You may wrestle with whether you made the right choice. But in the stillness, the voice of Jesus will rise. And when it does, you will feel the warmth of His love cover every broken place. You will begin to see the pieces come back together, not as they were, but as they were meant to be. Stronger. Clearer. Whole. The letter M might still echo in your mind from time to time. That's normal. but it no longer defines your path. It no longer holds power over your peace. God has given you discernment, and with it comes freedom. With it comes a new beginning. And while the world may not understand your journey, heaven rejoices over every step you take toward healing. Keep walking forward. Keep trusting Jesus. Keep believing that this is not the end, but the beginning of something sacred. The warning was not meant to break you. It was meant to awaken the part of you that has always been connected to God's love. And now that you're awake, you will never settle again for anything less than what was written for you in the heart of heaven. That longing is not weakness. It's a sign that your soul is alive, searching for the love it was created for, the peace it was meant to know. That longing is God calling you closer, pulling you gently away from what once felt right but no longer aligns with the truth of your purpose. Type Amen if you believe you are chosen by God. The person whose name begins with M may have been part of your journey in ways you can't easily erase. They may have been a friend, a guide, or someone you gave your trust to freely. But time has a way of revealing hearts, and slowly, through quiet moments and subtle patterns, the truth begins to shine through. God never allows you to remain blind when you ask Him to show you what's real. Sometimes, the answer doesn't come with a loud crash, it comes in stillness, in reflection, in the way your heart begins to tighten around someone who once felt safe. This isn't about judgment. It's not about pointing fingers or carrying anger. This is about clarity. About freedom. About walking in step with the God who formed your spirit and loves it too much to let it be mishandled. The Lord doesn't remove people from your life to punish you. He separates you to preserve you. He cuts ties not to isolate you, but to protect the path He has planned for your life. And if He has warned you, if He has made your spirit restless around someone, it's because He has seen something you haven't. What if a simple 7-minute sound frequency could awaken a forgotten brain signal designed to pull wealth toward you like a magnet? Backed by shocking CIA files and neuroscience, this discovery is now changing lives everywhere. Think of debts melting away, promotions arriving, and abundance flowing freely. This is the one moment that can rewrite your future, but only if you claim it now, because hesitation will only keep you chained to the same struggles. Click the link in video description and comments below to experience the hidden wealth wave and let your financial destiny shift in your favor today. You may have questioned yourself, wondering if you were overreacting or being too sensitive. But when God places discernment in your heart, it's a gift. It's the gentle hand of heaven telling you to pay attention, to slow down, and to trust the feeling you can't shake. You were never meant to walk blindly into harm. You were meant to walk in light, to move in truth, to live with peace. There's a holy peace that comes when you finally accept what God has been showing you. It doesn't always come immediately. Sometimes it follows tears, silence, or even moments of wrestling with the why. But once it settles in, you begin to breathe again. You begin to feel lighter. You begin to understand that love does not confuse, manipulate, or drain. Love, true love, the kind that comes from Jesus, brings comfort, safety, and joy that doesn't disappear in hard times. Type 666 if you trust Jesus with your heart. If the presence of this person has left you more confused than calm, more anxious than assured, more weary than filled, then that's your answer. That is God revealing fruit that does not grow from His tree. You can forgive someone and still walk away. You can wish someone well and still recognize they are not meant to go where God is leading you. This kind of strength is not easy, but it is holy. It is the kind of courage that heaven honors. You were not created to be small in someone's life. You were created with divine intention, shaped by the hand of God, destined for purpose that goes beyond what anyone else can see. Your voice, your soul, your love, it all matters deeply to God. He watches how others treat your heart, and He will not stay silent when He sees it being mishandled. If He's calling you to step back, to pause, to reevaluate, it's because He's making room for something better. Something truer. Something rooted in Him. Letting go may not be easy, but it is sacred. It's the quiet surrender that says, God, I trust you more than I trust this connection. I trust you more than the story I wanted to write. I trust you with my healing. And in that moment of surrender, heaven moves. God begins to open new doors, new peace, and new strength. What felt like loss begins to feel like freedom. What felt like heartbreak becomes the beginning of wholeness. There will be days when you still feel the ache. That's okay. God isn't asking you to erase the memory overnight. He's asking you to give it to Him. To lay it down, again and again, until the sharp edges soften and your heart begins to beat with joy again. He will fill the empty places. He will pour love into the cracks. He will never waste your pain. Every moment you've walked through has prepared you for something more beautiful, more aligned, more divine. This path you're on, even with all its twists, is still under the care of a loving Father. He hasn't forgotten you. He hasn't left you behind. He's simply leading you through the valley to reach the place where your soul finally feels whole. And on the other side of this decision, this release, this trust, you will find new strength. You will find that the warning wasn't the end. It was the beginning of a life lived in truth, in freedom, in the fullness of God's love. You are not alone. Not now. Not ever. The same God who created the stars watches over your every step. The same Jesus who calmed the storm is calming your heart even now. And the same Spirit that moved mountains in the past is making a way for you, clearing the road, opening new space, and filling your life with grace. It's not always easy to name. It could be the hurt left behind by someone who didn't value your kindness, or the confusion that settled after trusting a voice that never spoke truth. Whatever the reason, God sees it all. He understands the weight you've been carrying, and He's gently asking you to set it down now. Type 222 if your heart is ready to heal. The person connected to the letter M may not even be physically present anymore, yet the impact they left still echoes through your thoughts. That's the thing about emotional wounds, they don't always bleed on the surface. They live in the quiet places of your spirit, often triggered by familiar words or moments that bring old emotions to life again. But God is not standing back watching you struggle. He is drawing near to comfort you, to restore what was taken, and to make you whole again from the inside out. What you walked through may have felt like a storm, loud, confusing, and painful. You may have questioned your own voice, doubted your worth, or felt like you had to earn love that should have been given freely. But hear this now with your whole heart: that was never the love God intended for you. His love doesn't twist your words or silence your feelings. His love doesn't come and go based on mood or convenience. His love is constant, steady, safe. And it's pouring into your life right now, even through these words, softening the pain and reminding you that you are not forgotten. Healing doesn't always come quickly. It unfolds over time, like morning light spreading across the sky after a long, dark night. And in that slow unfolding, God is patient with you. He's not asking you to rush, to pretend you're fine, or to bury what happened. He's asking you to be honest, with Him, with yourself, and with the parts of you that still feel tender. That honesty is where healing begins. It's where the lies fall away, and the truth of who you are begins to shine again. What if the missing piece to financial success wasn't luck, but a hidden frequency inside your brain waiting to be switched on? Once activated, this ancient signal unleashes waves of prosperity, opening doors to opportunities you never thought possible. From sudden windfalls to long-awaited breakthroughs, it's transforming lives daily. Want to see how? Click the link in the video description and comments below to tap into the Money Magnet brain wave and begin your journey today. Others are already awakening this hidden signal and watching their lives transform. Do not be the one left behind while abundance passes you by. You are not what happened to you. You are not the mistakes you made trying to hold it all together. You are not the silence you kept when you didn't know how to speak. You are God's creation. Loved. Seen. Fought for. Redeemed. And He is doing something new in you even now, restoring the broken parts, bringing peace to the chaos, and writing a new story full of grace and promise. Type 2323 if you believe your heart is worthy of peace. It's okay to grieve what you thought you had with that person. Maybe you hoped they would change. Maybe you saw glimpses of something good and held on to it, praying it would grow. But love built on unstable ground will always shake. And if God allowed it to fall, it's only because He didn't want you building your future on something that could not carry you. He loves you too much to let you settle for less than what He designed. Letting go doesn't mean it didn't matter. It means it's no longer controlling your peace. It means you've released the illusion so God can replace it with reality. A reality where you are deeply loved, respected, and free. A reality where your emotions are honored, your spirit is nourished, and your soul can finally breathe again. That reality is already unfolding. Step by step. Moment by moment. It begins now. It's not weakness to feel. It's not failure to care. Your tenderness is not your flaw, it's your strength. The world may have told you to toughen up, to stop caring so deeply, to guard your heart like a fortress. But Jesus did not live that way. He walked with compassion, wept for others, healed the broken, and loved without fear. And because you are His, that same tenderness lives in you. Don't hide it. Let God refine it. Let Him shape your kindness into strength, your compassion into discernment, and your faith into fire. What you lost will not be greater than what's coming. What was taken will not outweigh what God is restoring. You are in a sacred season now, a time of rebuilding, of resetting your soul, of coming back to the God who never left your side. And in this season, miracles are quietly forming behind the scenes. Healing is blooming beneath the surface. And joy, the real kind, the kind that lasts, is making its way to you. Don't rush the process. Don't compare your healing to anyone else's. Just stay close to the one who's holding your heart. Stay in his presence. Sit in the quiet and let him speak. He knows exactly what you need. And where you're going, you won't carry this pain with you. It's being lifted, little by little, like fog clearing after the rain. Soon, you'll look back and realize you're no longer hurting the way you used to. You'll realize that peace has taken root where confusion once lived. And you'll know, without question, that God was there the whole time. This is holy ground. The healing, the release, the rising, it's all part of the journey God has planned for you. So breathe, beloved heart. Rest in his love. Trust that what he's doing now is beautiful, even if you can't see it yet. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. And though you may not have said a word about it, God knows. He knows what your heart carries. He knows what you're afraid to name. He knows the truth behind the face you wear for the world. And in all of it, he still chooses you. He still reaches for you with love that never grows tired, never pulls away, and never changes its mind. Type 1111 if you believe God is guiding you right now. That person whose name begins with the letter M, you've been thinking about them more than you'd like to admit. Maybe it's not their presence that's heavy now, but their memory. Maybe it's the way they left without explanation, or the way they stayed without giving you peace. Maybe it's the way they made you question yourself, second-guess your kindness, and shrink parts of your spirit just to keep them from pulling away. But God never asked you to lose yourself in order to be loved. The voice of Jesus always builds, always affirms, always lifts you up in truth. You may have been patient, endlessly understanding, hoping they'd see how much you cared. You may have prayed for change, waited through silence, and convinced yourself that their absence was just a season. But sometimes, unanswered prayers are not a sign that God is silent, they are a sign that He's protecting you. Sometimes, the "no, you didn't want" is actually His mercy shielding you from a kind of heartache that would have drained your spirit far more deeply had you stayed. God is holding out His hand, asking you to trust Him, not because He needs you, but because He loves you too much to let you go on hurting without Him. You were never meant to do this life on your own. And you don't have to. Jesus is closer than your breath, ready to calm your storms and guide your steps. There's a peace waiting for you that no job, no person, no success can give. It's the peace of knowing you are held by something eternal. When the ground beneath you shakes, God is the rock that never moves. When everything changes, His love stays the same. And when everyone else walks away, He stays. Let yourself believe again. Let your heart soften. Let hope rise. Heaven hasn't forgotten you. God hasn't given up on you. And Jesus is still calling your name. Not with anger. Not with judgment. But with arms stretched wide and a heart that says, "Welcome home." You may not see the hands of heaven holding your life together, but they are there, steady and strong, lifting the weight you were never meant to carry alone. Jesus sees the battles you face, the tears you never speak of, the fears you try to silence, and still, He calls you chosen, treasured, and beloved beyond measure. Type 12:12 if you walk by faith. Sometimes, the greatest miracles are the ones that happen quietly inside the heart, the ones that transform grief into strength and fear into faith, and although life may have tried to convince you that you are alone, heaven is here now, reminding you that you belong to something greater than the pain you've endured. God is not far away, He is closer than the breath in your lungs, listening to every unspoken prayer, watching over every uncertain step, and guiding you even when you feel lost or unsure. An ancient 9-word code, once reserved for high-level insiders, has been uncovered. It's simple, quick, and shockingly effective at drawing money and blessings into your life. Neuroscientists confirm it stimulates the brain's receiving center, an area dormant in most people. People everywhere are calling it the 30-second miracle. Click the link in the description and comments before the authorities remove it again. There is a sacred gentleness in the way Jesus approaches the wounded heart, because He understands what it means to hurt, to be misunderstood, to be betrayed, and to feel abandoned, yet even after experiencing the darkness of the world, He still chose love, mercy, forgiveness, and grace. That is the heart reaching for you now, not demanding perfection or worthiness, but offering rest, healing, and a new beginning woven with divine compassion. Life may have hardened parts of you, but nothing is too broken for God to restore, and no distance is too far for Him to reach. Even if you feel like you've wandered away from His presence, He has never walked away from you. His love is patient, His mercy is wide, and His grace is eternal. You are not beyond redemption, you are not forgotten, and you are not rejected. You are His, and He is calling you home. If your spirit feels weary, let this message be a soft place for your heart to rest, because there is no condemnation here, no judgment, no pressure, only love deep enough to mend what life has shattered. The path ahead may be uncertain, but God goes before you. The storms may be fierce, but Jesus stands within them. The future may feel unknown, but heaven has already written victory into your story. Sometimes healing happens slowly, one breath at a time, and sometimes it rushes in like a flood of peace, washing away years of burden, fear, and doubt. There is no wrong way to return to God. Every step toward Him is holy. Every whisper of faith is powerful. Every moment you choose hope instead of despair brings heaven closer to your life. Type yes to affirm. There is a light within you that darkness cannot extinguish, because that light comes from God Himself, and even when you feel weak, confused, or uncertain, that light still burns. The enemy may try to convince you that you have fallen too far or failed too deeply, but Jesus says you are forgiven, redeemed, and covered in grace. He says your past cannot control your future, your wounds cannot steal your purpose, and your fear cannot silence the calling God placed upon your life. You were created with intention and love, not as an afterthought, not as an accident, but as a cherished part of God's heart, and the same God who formed galaxies and oceans thought the world needed one of you. You are not just living, you are meant, chosen, protected, and guided. Nothing about your existence is ordinary, because you carry the breath of the Creator within you. The angels rejoice when a heart begins to open to God again, not because of rules or religion, but because heaven knows the beauty that unfolds when a soul reconnects with divine truth. Peace returns. Strength rises. Hope grows. And love becomes the foundation instead of fear. That is what God wants for you, not just survival, but peace. Not just breath, but purpose. Not just life, but abundance of love, protection, and divine guidance. There will be days when your faith feels strong and days when it feels like a fragile whisper, yet Jesus receives both with the same tenderness. He honors every prayer, every tremble, every step toward Him. He doesn't measure faith by size, He measures it by honesty. And your honest longing for Him is enough. So breathe deeply and let the presence of God surround you like soft light. Let every worry loosen its grip. Let every fear begin to fade. Let every wound be touched by the gentle healing of heaven. You are safe in God's love. You are covered. You are seen. You are held. No matter what has happened, you are still worthy of every blessing God has prepared. The door to His heart has never closed. His love has never changed. And His protection over you remains unshaken. You are not invisible to God. You are not overlooked by heaven. Even when your prayers feel like whispers lost in the wind, the Lord hears every single one. Not a tear has fallen unnoticed, not a sigh unheard. God has always been listening. Type 555 if you believe God still hears you. There is a beauty in brokenness that the world often misses, but heaven sees it clearly. Your cracks are not your curse, they are where the light of Jesus enters. In the places you've been wounded, God is planting seeds of healing. In the spaces where you've felt abandoned, He is building something holy. Even your loneliness is a sacred place, because it is there that Jesus draws nearest. He does not wait for you to become whole before He loves you. He enters your mess and calls it worthy of redemption. So many hearts are walking through life aching in silence, carrying invisible pain that others cannot see. But God sees. He sees beyond the surface. He sees the child inside you that longs to feel safe, to feel held, to feel seen. And He responds not with distance, but with closeness. The Lord does not walk past the broken-hearted. He kneels beside them and stays. Jesus was never a savior who stayed far above pain. He came down into it, lived among it, and loved people through it. He touched the untouchable, sat with the outcasts, forgave the unforgivable, and restored those who had given up on themselves. That same Jesus is alive right now, and He is not disappointed in you. He is not weary of your struggles. He is not tired of your tears. He still chooses you, again and again, without hesitation. A hidden 9-word prayer rediscovered in a sealed government document is now changing everything for those who dare to use it. It activates your brain's forgotten abundance channel, helping you manifest prosperity in ways you've never seen before. The results: cleared debts, growing savings, sudden opportunities, speak for themselves. Don't wait until this vanishes. Click the link before it's erased from the internet. Maybe you've lost pieces of yourself along the way. Maybe life has taken things from you that you never thought you'd live without. But God is in the business of restoring what was stolen and healing what was crushed. You don't have to know how it will happen. You only need to trust that His hands are capable, His timing is perfect, and His love never fails. It's easy to feel like you have to pretend to be strong, like you have to wear the mask and keep going. But God isn't asking for your performance, He's asking for your honesty. There is something sacred about surrender, not the kind that means giving up, but the kind that means letting go. Letting go of trying to control what only God can hold. Letting go of the shame that has haunted you for far too long. Letting go of the belief that you have to do everything on your own. Surrender is where peace begins. It's where healing begins. It's where faith grows. Type 666 if you trust Jesus with your heart. Sometimes the most powerful act of faith is not shouting your beliefs, but simply choosing to get up again, choosing to keep going, choosing to believe that something beautiful can still grow from the ashes. That small decision to keep your heart open, even after all it has been through, is a holy thing. God sees it. He honors it. And He pours His strength into it. There is nothing ordinary about your life. You were created by the same hands that shaped the mountains and painted the skies. You were knit together with care, purpose, and destiny. Before you took your first breath, heaven already knew your name. And heaven has not changed its mind about you. Even when life feels like it's drifting, God still has your course in His hands. It's okay to not have it all figured out. It's okay to still be healing. It's okay to be both strong and struggling. You are not failing, you are growing. And God is not disappointed in your pace. He is walking with you through every step, even the slow ones, even the ones where you stumble. His love remains constant, unshaken, and eternal. If you've been searching for a sign, let this be it. Let this be the reminder that your life still matters, that your presence still carries light, and that your journey still holds purpose. You don't have to do anything grand to be worthy of God's love. You just have to let Him love you, right where you are. That's all He's ever wanted. Let your heart breathe. Let the walls begin to fall. Let hope rise again like morning light breaking through a long, cold night. Jesus is still here. He never left. And He never will. No matter how dark the night may get, the dawn is coming. And with it comes healing, peace, and a love that never lets go. And right in that moment, this moment, heaven sends a whisper wrapped in love and hope, not to frighten you, but to reach you. God is calling you back into peace, back into His arms, back into the truth that you have never been forgotten. Your steps, even the shaky ones, are known by Him. And every breath you take is still filled with purpose. Type 1919 to receive miracles. God does not promise that the path will be easy, but He promises that He will walk it with you. Every twist and turn, every heartbreak, every unanswered question, none of it is wasted in His hands. You may not have seen it yet, but grace has been wrapped around you since the beginning. Even the moments you thought would break you have been turned into holy ground, because Jesus has stood there with you, holding you through storms you never told anyone about. There's something deeply sacred about the quiet fight to keep believing. The world may never see your silent tears or the way you whisper prayers into the night when you feel like hope is fading, but heaven sees it all. God treasures the faith you hold on to when everything else feels uncertain. He doesn't overlook the strength it takes just to keep going. And He blesses the smallest flicker of trust with more love than the heart can contain. It doesn't matter how many times you've failed or how many steps you've taken away from Him. What matters is that His love has never stepped away from you. It hasn't decreased. It hasn't dimmed. It hasn't given up. His mercy renews every morning, His grace restores every wound, and His hand reaches further than your furthest fall. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are still chosen. Jesus doesn't wait for you to feel worthy. He makes you worthy by the love He freely gives. You could never earn it, and you never had to. He knew you would be imperfect, and still, He chose to die for you, to live for you, and to stay with you. That is love that cannot be broken. That is the kind of love that never ends. When you feel overwhelmed, when your heart feels buried beneath questions and weariness, remember this: the voice of God still speaks peace. Not the kind of peace the world gives, which depends on circumstances, but a peace that holds you steady even when the storm rages on. It's the peace that reminds you who you are, even when life tries to make you forget. You are not defined by your past. You are not bound to your mistakes. You are defined by the one who made you and still calls you His own. Type 333 if you believe in God's peace. What if everything you've been chasing, wealth, freedom, success, could be drawn to you automatically, simply by unlocking a secret brain wave hidden inside you? Once classified by intelligence agencies, this discovery is now available to the public, and it's changing lives instantly. Picture yourself debt-free, stress-free, and thriving. The window is open, but not forever, and every second you wait is wealth slipping from your hands, so grasp it now. Click the link in video description and comments below to awaken this money magnet frequency and watch abundance flow into your life today. There are battles you've faced that no one else knows about, nights when sleep wouldn't come, days when hope felt far away, seasons when the silence felt like abandonment. But heaven was never silent. Heaven was fighting for you. Angels stood around you. Prayers were lifted for you. And God held on to you when you didn't even have the strength to hold on to Him. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to not have all the answers. What matters is that you are still here, still reading, still reaching for something more, and that something more is Jesus. Not a distant story from long ago, but a living Savior who understands every part of you. He weeps with you, walks with you, and waits patiently for the moment you open your heart to Him again. You don't need to clean yourself up to come to God. Come as you are, hurting, doubting, afraid, or numb. He welcomes all of it. He doesn't ask for a polished version of you. He just asks for the real you. And in return, He offers healing, peace, joy, and a kind of love that will never be taken away. Let this moment be a turning point. Let this be the time you stop running, stop hiding, and let yourself be fully seen and fully loved by the one who knows you best. You're not too far. You're not too lost. You're not too broken. The cross was enough. His sacrifice was complete. And His love is forever. Every single heartbeat is proof that God is not done with you. He is still writing your story, still shaping your future, still calling you into a deeper place of rest and hope. The night may feel long, but morning is coming. Healing is coming. Restoration is coming. And your soul is not forgotten, it is treasured. You were created with light in your spirit, not to be buried in shame, not to be chained to fear, but to shine with the presence of Jesus Himself. The world may try to dim your light, but heaven will keep reigniting it, because it belongs to Him. You belong to Him. So breathe. Rest. Let the walls fall down. Let the love of Christ wash over you like soft rain on dry soil. Let it sink into every part of you that felt left behind or too far gone. You are not a lost cause. You are a precious soul held in the hands of a Savior who would never give up on you. That stillness is not emptiness, it is sacred. It's a moment when heaven draws near to remind you that, no matter what life has taken from you, God's love remains untouched. You may have lost people, opportunities, or pieces of yourself, but His love has never wavered, not even for a second. It has remained steady, faithful, and endlessly near. Type 777 if you believe God's love never leaves. There's something holy about the way God tends to our brokenness. He doesn't rush in with judgment. He doesn't point to your wounds and ask why they exist. He simply steps closer, with healing in His hands and kindness in His voice, and says, "Let me hold you." He is not intimidated by your weakness, your fears, or your scars. In fact, He draws closer to you through them, not away from them. That is the kind of Savior Jesus is, not one who waits for perfection, but one who meets you in your imperfection with endless mercy. You may not always feel His presence, but He is there in every breath you take. When the world grows loud and confusing, when your thoughts spin faster than your peace can hold, God remains your anchor. He doesn't change when your emotions do. He doesn't leave when your faith feels small. His love is not based on how strong you are, it flows from how faithful He is. Some days you may wake up feeling like you can't do it anymore. The weight feels too much. The road ahead feels uncertain. And hope feels like a fading echo. But Jesus is already in those days, preparing the strength you'll need, sending the right people, placing the right words in your path, arranging divine appointments so you never have to walk alone. Even when you feel like giving up, He is holding you tighter, closer, whispering, "You're not alone. Keep going. I'm here." God is not watching your life from a distance. He's in it, moment by moment, choice by choice, pain by pain.